Welcome to the Phoenix Zone and all things Cayman. Today I am here at the House of Parliament to interview one of our future politicians, Jerrin Reynolds-Velasquez. Jerrin, thank you for joining the Phoenix Zone.
Thank you very much for having me, Phoenix. It's really an honor.
So what is your motivation to want to be in politics?
Well, it's a pretty long story, so I'll cut to the chase. And so when I was in year 8 back in 2021, I was a then John Gray High School student. My former religious education teacher, she had these various projects that we had to do for religious education. And one of them was politics. So I said, Miss Eldemeyer, I want to do the one about politics. So she said, okay, Jerrin, you can go ahead and do that. And so I did. I had to do a lot of research. So, of course, I had to look at the House of Parliament meetings, the general elections, the members of Parliament, their portfolios, such as the Ministry for Youth, Sports and Heritage, the Ministry of Sustainability and Climate Resiliency, all of those ministries. So it was a really interesting research, and that is actually what made me become interested in politics. And another thing that made me become interested in it is because you hear a lot of young people and a lot of our Caymanians saying, well, I don't feel heard. I feel like I don't have a voice in the House of Parliament. So I was like, you know what? I feel that I will be that change in 2029, God's willing, and not just in 2029, but from now. So, like everybody has said, I'm going to have the longest ever campaign in Cayman's political history.
So is there anybody in particular that is your inspiration to want to be in politics?
Yes, so it is actually the Honorable Arden McLean. The reason why I call him honorable is because he will always and forever remain honorable. So Mr. Arden McLean was actually the then leader of the opposition. And the reason why he is such an inspiration to me is because every time you hear him speak, it's just that, his voice, the tone in his voice, it is just so inspiring. It makes me speechless, honestly, because he speaks the facts and he's such a patriotic Caymanian like myself. And I feel that him and myself, we can relate to many things. And so I just want to thank Mr. Arden very much if he's watching this. Thank you very much, sir, for your continuous service to the Cayman Islands. Because even though you may no longer be a member of Parliament, you are a former member of Parliament and you have done a lot of good work for this country. So thank you very much, sir. God bless you.
And what role in our Cayman government do you want to be and why?
Well, it's a couple of roles that I'd like to have as a member of Parliament. But at least for my first term, I'd like to be a minister. And the specific minister that I'd like to be is Minister for Youth, Culture and Heritage, and Home Affairs. The reason why youth is because I'm a young person myself, and because I feel that many of our young people need a voice, like we talked about earlier. And I just care a lot about our young people, and every time I speak to a young person, it just makes me happy. Honestly, it makes my day. The reason why I want to be Minister for Culture and Heritage as well is because I'm very passionate about those agendas. And, I served as the Minister for Youth, Sports and Heritage during my first term in Youth Parliament, which was just recently back in March. I was participating in the Youth Parliament debate, the 17th Youth Parliament debate. And so it's just made me so inspired, and I'm just so happy, honestly. And for Home Affairs, because I am just so grateful for all of those in the uniform, the police officers, the regiment, paramedics, firefighters, all of them that I can name. I'm just so grateful for their service, and I want to give back to them so that they are able to continue to serve our islands in the best way possible. The other roles that I'd like to have as well as Speaker of the House, Speaker of Parliament,
Mm.
is because the role is very unique. Because the role is way different, the responsibilities are way different from what you would do as a minister. And also, ultimately, I'd love to become the premier of our wonderful Cayman Islands eventually, so that I can lead our country in the best way possible.
And so I understand that there's a lot of mixed feelings and opinions on party politics versus independence. So what is your opinion?
So for party politics, I think party politics would be the best option because at least every member of parliament is able to agree on the same thing, on the same achievements. While the independents, everybody has a different agenda, a different achievement. And we've seen that in the last 3 years now. So I feel that it would be best for us to move to party politics and to have great representation.
There's probably always going to be some issues that the government needs to see or help change to make it better. What issues do you think are important to fix or help change to be better for this next election in April?
Well, there are many I can list, but due to time, I will just go short. So we have the cost of living, protecting the environment. So the cost of living, we know for sure that is a huge impact. Because when you go to the supermarket, for example, prices of the eggs and all the groceries, oh my goodness. And then the environment. An example is the beach erosion that is currently happening at 7 Mile Beach. That is why we need to look carefully at the development that is going on in this country. We have to be careful of it, or be cautious, I should say. And the way to do that is to look at the negative impacts that the development of these certain buildings will cause to the environment. Also, we have to protect the mangroves. We don't have too many mangroves that are left. So the ones that we have left, we need to preserve them because mangroves are very important to our islands, and not just only to the Cayman Islands, but even to other countries all over the world as well that have mangroves. Another thing too is protecting the Caymanian culture and heritage. And I would like to commend the Ministry for Youth, Sports and Heritage and the Minister that is in charge of the Ministry for Youth, Sports and Heritage, the Honourable Isaac Rankin. They are doing such a phenomenal job at continuing to preserve our heritage. As you've seen, they had Emancipation Day, they had the Older Persons Month, many of these events to preserve our culture and heritage, which is just commendable, and I thank them very much for it. And I hope and pray that we will continue to preserve our heritage and do the right thing.
All of these issues are very important to fix, and I completely agree with you. What do you think, not only the government, but also the community of Cayman, can help to make these problems better?
Okay. More public awareness for the environment. I would say public awareness, because not too many people know too much about our heritage. Not saying everybody, but there are some people who don't really know much about the environment. And so we can teach them, say, hey, this is what you need to know about the environment. This is why. This is a bad thing for the environment. This is a good thing for the environment. For the cost of living, I don't know what to say about that one, honestly. I myself, I'm trying to think of solutions to address the cost of living so I can be willing to help members of parliament say, hey, this is how I think we can address the high cost of living. So I'm still working on that, because at the end of the day, you have to look at the pros and the cons for it. You can't just look at the pros, you got to look at the cons as well. So high cost of living one, that's a bit of a challenge for me, but I'm working on it. So I just want the Cayman community to know that I'm working on it. I haven't left you all behind. I'm making sure I'm looking out for that. I'm continuing to work on it day and night.
So now, linking back to your inspiration, what do you think makes a good politician?
Okay. What makes a good politician is someone who keeps their promises. For example, when I run for election, God's willing, if I know that I can't fulfill a promise, I will say, I will try my very best to solve these issues so that I can deliver for you. Because if you promise and say, oh, I'm going to address the cost of living, and when you're elected in this honorable House of Parliament and you don't address the issue, resolve it, then the voters will say, okay, well, I'm not going to vote for him because he just said last election that he was going to address this issue and he didn't resolve it. So that is why I would encourage every politician to say, I will try my very best to resolve these issues for you.
So, like, if a politician says something, they'll have to commit to it,
right?
Instead of not committing to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Phoenix. And it is such a pleasure. It is so phenomenal to be on the Phoenix Zone. Please make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and continue to follow Phoenix on Instagram and Facebook, or it's just Instagram and YouTube. Instagram and YouTube?
All of them.
All over. So thank you very much, Phoenix. And I'm looking forward to returning on the Phoenix Zone so that we can continue this discussion, or maybe something else.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.